breaking development here. Protests being held. Those are visuals of the protests that are being carried out. We'll try to find out and tell you more details not available as yet. But these are visuals from Chandigarh. The young adults, as you can see there, they are protesting there apparently against inflation. It's not yet known whether they are from... Well, they are members of the Youth Congress. And it's a protest against inflation, they say. You can hear the slogans that are being shouted. Visuals are from Chandigarh.
Youth Congress!
And Sandeep, well, sorry about that. Amandeep joining us on the phone line. Amandeep, what are we seeing here? The police trying to, well, round up those protesters. We believe it's a Youth Congress protest. What are they protesting about?
Well, Rukma, the protest is from Chandigarh Youth Congress, and in fact they are protesting against the inflation, and even they wanted to roll out the march on the streets of the Chandigarh. But the police have heavily deployed, and in fact they put barricades in the place, and even the police have earlier informed that they are not allowed to march out in Chandigarh, on Chandigarh Road, in fact. But the protesters are so much adamant, they wanted to break down the barricades and to continue their march, but that was not allowed. And finally, the police have used the water cannons to disperse the protesters, and in fact the visuals are very much telling that how this entire protest was being carried out by Chandigarh Youth Congress. And in fact, police with a heavy deployment tried to control the law and order situation at the spot, and even used water cannon to disperse the protesters from the spot, just because continuously they are trying to break down the barricades. They are having trouble with the Chandigarh police, but the police are repeatedly trying to make them understand about the situation, that law and order cannot be compromised in Chandigarh, and that is the reason barricades at one place, and in fact from that very much point they were not allowed to move beyond that. And even finally, when the protesters were not ready to disperse from the spot, they forcibly used the water cannon on the spot, and in fact to disperse the protesters. And later on, they will be detained on the precautionary measure, so that at least law and order situation will not be challenged. And even the Chandigarh Youth Congress protesters are very much adamant and repeatedly raising the slogans against the BJP government. They wanted to raise their voice on the streets of the Chandigarh, so that at least the protest should be registered in the laws in an appropriate manner. But meanwhile, they have forget about the law and order situation of Chandigarh. This protest is all against the inflation and all against the BJP government in center, and even raise certain issues regarding the discussion in the Lok Sabha regarding the price rise.
पुलिस आ जाती है ਅਸੀਂ ਇੱਕ ਪੀਸਫੁਲ ਤਰੀਕੇ ਨਾਲ ਆਪਣੀ ਡਿਮਾਂਡ ਰੱਖਣ ਜਾ ਰਹੇ ਸੀ देखो की सलूका करा गया पानी गिरा गया लाठी चार्ज करा गया ਅਸੀਂ इस देश के नागरिक नहीं ਅਸੀਂ महंगाई जो बढ़ती है ਉਹਦਾ मुद्दा उठाया सी महंगाई पूरे देश च एक सब तो बड़ा मुद्दा बनया हुआ है साडा एक ही डिमांड है कि महंगाई घटाई जाए पर ये देखो ਅਸੀਂ
So high drama on the streets of Chandigarh. As you can see in those visuals, police action against Youth Congress protesters. The protesters say they are protesting against rising prices, inflation in particular. And earlier there were barricades that were put up, and now police firing water cannons to disperse them.